Welcome to another episode of Two Ales and Hockey Tales with Wally. Hazy Sunset, Bayfield Brewing Company. And today, I am so excited to have on a 36-year-old from Medicine Hat, Alberta, Canada. His hockey journey took him to Canada. Well, Canada, the USA, Sweden, Germany, England, and Scotland. A second-round draft pick of the Florida Panthers. Another Notre Dame Hound. And a legend with the Medicine Hat Tigers, where he scored 123 goals. And during that time, made Western Canada under 17 and Team Canada under 18s. With the Sheffield Steelers, was a playoff champion. And with the Brayhead or Glasgow Clan, whatever you want to call them, I think he was the captain, but the research team couldn't find it. And he was a second team EIHL All-Star with yours truly. But there is worry he may make the pod legitimate because he has 20 NHL games between the Florida Panthers and Calgary Flames. Welcome to the podcast, Stefan Meyer.
Thanks, Wally. I don't know if the last time I seen you, I might have hacked you behind the fucking legs.
You know what? We've never been friends before, have we?
No. I always liked you, for like a smaller, guy that was skated around that kind of looked like a little box. I'll give you a lot of credit. You could rip the puck, man.
We would battle. That's I guess how we get into this is how we know each other. And I got that written down here. Is you probably don't remember. I guess you said you did remember this, but Rochester versus Syracuse. You actually played. I didn't. Schwinnigan versus Hellbron, Brayhead versus Cardiff, and former Potters Levitt, Frank, Saltz, Finner, Carlos, Mark Whitfoth, and yeah, that's a lot of stuff how we know each other now, eh?
Goes a long, long way, and it's hilarious that you mentioned that. I know, actually, I mentioned the Syracuse days to start.
I don't know how you would remember me because I never played.
No, I remember you. I got a lot of
came out.
You were a good player.
Dude, you were with Rochester, and your jerseys are pretty nice, right? You got the stars. It looks very nice and American. And you came out with your long blonde hair, 6'2", and you were like a real prospect, and you were playing like big minutes. And I had just got out of school, and you were the type of guys that really threatened me.
Well, I'll admit, when I look back now, like I was a little bit of a wild man back then. Loved to fight. But nothing was worse than having a little bit of toughness and going into that Syracuse arena. I remember coming out on the ice and Konopka would be waiting on the red line. No bucket. Instantly wanted to fight. You wanted to fight before the game even started. Right?
In the AHL, yeah.
In the AHL. And then, so then, of course, you try to dodge him. And then Darcy was running around there.
Another
dodging
former
all
Potter.
These tough guys, trying to fight you over the red line. So I think that I'm going to at least dodge a bullet. I'm not going to fight one of these wild men. And I pick a guy by the name of Jeff Swez. I'm sure everybody knows him. And wrong pick. I remember we were fighting and he was hitting me so many times. It went black every time he hit me. And I got lucky because when I punched him, his helmet got stuck in between my fingers. And I remember repeatedly hitting him over the head with it. And the big boy never even went down. So that's
you were hitting him with the helmet?
With the helmet, yeah. I remember I got suspended and had to pay for that. And the big boy didn't even go down. That's hilarious. Ended up running into him. It seems like we all ran into each other.
Yeah, I lived in the hotel with him there. Yeah, I lived in the hotel in Syracuse.
That exact year.
Yeah, well, he was a bigger shot. I think he got his own room by the end of it. Even a nice little spread of food. Yeah. Oh man, but no, we were talking a little bit beforehand, but Al Levy, you guys are tight and grew up together somewhat, I heard, right? Didn't he say that on his pod? You guys know each other from way back.
Absolutely. Like it, right, especially that last year there, like it goes back. Ryan Finnerty, fantastic coach. I had a blast with him, and I don't care what anybody says, I had a big hand in recruiting that team that first year that Alex Levin came. Basically I brought Alex there and Marcus Gotts, Gouda, and it just seemed like you got to remember him from Germany. He would have been a player. He would have played Played against a
Which
ton.
one?
We scored against.
Gots or what was the other one?
Gots, yeah.
Yeah,
The-
I
the
remember
Swede,
Gots.
The
Yeah.
Swede with the big long flow.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, so I brought old Al. Me and Al have a big history with Notre Dame, and we obviously ended up. He was in Swift Current. I was in Medicine Hat in the Western Hockey League. And then I got to play with Al. We played in Germany in Schwenningen,
That's right.
and then after that, we kind of didn't see each other for a while. And then Al came over to Scotland, and hell of a player. That guy could play.
And
You know-
he could really open up the hips, with the duck feet
Oh
there.
God, and it's crazy. I don't know how somebody like him. He looks like a Russian tourist, right? If you see him, like if you see him walking down the street, and nothing against Russians, I love Russians too, but Al would be walking with his hair, his Hugo Boss, and flood pants, and white Nikes, and for a guy that looked like a Russian tourist, he could play hockey. I'll give him credit.
Oh man, yeah. I see. I've never really got to know him other than in my shed, and then like when the people send me their photos for their poster, like the one where he's topless in a pool or by a pool, like like I appreciate other hockey players with similar physiques than myself.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say you guys definitely on the ice would resemble like this, the same look. Both could play though. You guys.
Well, we were definitely definitely power play guys, right? We were
Yeah.
power play guys. Yeah. Yeah. He
Like
was a
Brett Hall,
centerman
Brett
though.
Hall trigger, right?
Yeah, we did different things, different things. Okay. Now
I apologize that I'm having a little bit of wine tonight, but it's whatever my wife brings to the house.
well, you don't have to apologize. It's only the name Two Ales and Hockey Tales. You can drink whatever you want.
Well, don't worry. I'll drink it all. I'm a hillbilly from Saskatchewan. Graduated with, I think I had 8 or 10 kids in my class, so I guess I can do whatever the hell I want.
8 or 10 in your class.
You betcha. 300 people. 300 people. Never had artificial ice growing up. Never got to start playing hockey till about December, until it got cold enough. True story.
You mean artificial ice as in like in an
Well, I
arena?
guess some of you don't realize that.
Like artificial ice, I'm thinking like the shit Hendo's got in Cardiff where it's like plastic ice. You're talking like an actual arena?
I'm talking like if I wanted to skate, I had to wait.
Like with the
for water to-
compressors, like you didn't even have compressors out there?
No, I had to wait for water to freeze, man. That's when I started, right until I was about 14.
Really?
Some guy, yeah, I had a guy come up to my dad. My old man was just a hardworking, farm boy out in Saskatchewan. I never even would have played if I didn't have a fella from down the road be like, man, you got to get that kid going somewhere, because if not, that definitely it would have been just still on waiting for December to start skating. In 36.
When I got out of college and I see guys like you, and I'm like, wow, like they're so big and strong and fast. And then I'm like, these guys must have been prospects from the time they were 5 or 6. You're telling me you didn't even have ice?
Oh man. All I did, I didn't play hockey at all in the summer. I had to work. All we did was shovel grain, pick rocks. It was still, and that's it's funny how the world makes a full 360. That's what I'm doing now.
That's what I was just going to bring up is where and what are you doing now?
You should see the big equipment that we run now.
I'm looking at. I saw your Instagram. What are you doing here? What are you into?
I'm dabbling into everything. I married into the oil and gas industry, so now you should see some of the equipment that we have. Just big trucks that we truck all over, especially all over Saskatchewan, Alberta, BC. And we haul a bunch of sand for these big jobs. And we have these big pressure units. Farmer for life, run these combines. Our little guy, actually, it's hilarious that you asked that. He had this year. I run a really, really big one of this exact machine.
Is that the thresher?
Yeah, that's what we do. We thrash with it. Yeah, we farm.
Do you know that the Bayfield Brewing Company, my sponsor, has a beer named the Thresher? I just don't have it in the fridge right now.
Oh, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. And then 100%, you can thank me for that beer, that great beer that you guys drink. For guys like me who are working 18 hours a day to make sure that all you fellas can have a hell of a brewski late at night after your kids and wife force you into the shed.
You played in the EIHL and you're working 18 hours a day?
Absolutely. It doesn't end. On top of farming, on top of the oil and gas. Do you remember a fellow by the name of Willie Desjardins? Head
Willie
coach,
Desjardins, yeah, didn't he
head,
coach the Canucks?
head coach of the Canucks,
Good
Dallas
mustache.
Stars, Olympian.
Good mustache, right?
The big mustache. Yeah, you betcha. So he was my junior coach for the Tigers. He's now back general manager and coach for the Medicine Hat Tigers, Western Hockey League. Go Tigers. He's got an academy in town, and I do a lot of skill work too. And surprisingly, for what I look like, I can still move. And I'm getting to work with some.
What do you mean?
Really
what you look like? Yeah, that's awesome. It's great you're giving back to the game. But what do you mean? What you look like now? Like I see the biceps. Like you're fit. You're fit.
Maybe it's just it's crazy.
I hated players like you. You know, I hated players like you. The fucking 6'2", 6'3" fucking tall blonde guys. You guys drove me nuts. Second round draft picks. Go fuck yourselves.
Thanks, man. You're making me feel good. Maybe I should grow that blonde, slow black back out.
You look great, man. I can't believe I'm being so nice to you. I've never been nice to you before.
Yeah. That's all right, man. We're over it. We're old. We're retired.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
All we have to, like the highlight of our day is watching our kids get up and punch us in the nuts, say good morning. Like
no, actually, it's coming to the shed at night.
Coming to the shed, locking the door.
Okay, well, I got to give my exciting news near the start of the show in case anybody wants to shut her down early and gets bored of us, right? Is this fella, Sean Collins, reached out to me, and he's a Cardiff Devils fan, and he just offered to help me because he's like, the podcast is getting big and I'd like to help. Well, this fella is maintaining and built a website for me, free of charge. A volunteer just like Lee that makes all the posters. Shout out to both of you. You guys are the best. And part of all these people that have helped this happen. Now we got a website. It's www.ailshockeytales.com. That's ailshockeytales.com. And you know what? I'll remember shit for the rest of my life. And Stefan, you may be the pod that I'll remember forever, because if people go there, they could tip the podcast, and that would officially mean I make money drinking beers with my friends.
Is that what actually is going on here? Is that my podcast gets to be the day where you make it big? As a personality?
Not make it big, that in my heart might explode if I actually get a tip and somebody's like, I appreciate what you're doing, here's $5. I'd be like, holy shit, thank you so much.
Well, you're doing a hell of a job. Like I obviously before we even talked, I seen it popping up, and I started to see the guys that you were getting on there. And
it's all about the people, right?
Absolutely. And I can tell from just your personality and what you're about that it's gonna go really, really good for you.
Well, thank you.
Hey man, I'm tuned in.
Thank you. No, but hearing some of the feedback, it's like really kind of like surreal, but like the whole thing is just, I don't know. The whole thing's so messed up. It actually kind of makes sense, but I love this shit and I'll keep doing it whether people tip me or not, but it'd be really cool if they did.
You got to start getting some stuff flying, some colors flying in that shed if you're going to start.
Right,
start making it big.
Maybe put like posters up on my ceiling in the shed.
Yeah, exactly. Like a Saskatchewan Rough Riders flag or a Pilsner flag or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll get you something. I promise.
Okay. Well, either way, whatever happens. I just like when it all just kind of plays out. It's really fun. But thank you to Sean, and I guess his company's FunkOffUK.com. So check him out because he built an incredible website, which is ailshockeytales.com, and it's slick, man. I actually, you know what? I was pretty horned up when I looked at her. Okay, moving on. You got kids. What do you got?
Got a little girl. She's Scottish. My daughter Goldie was born over in Glasgow.
Cool.
And she's an angel. She's an absolute angel. She parents me now. A lot of days she's kind of like, Dad, you shouldn't be doing that. And I got a little boy, Navy. And this guy, I don't know what to say about this guy. I love him to death. I'm a little bit worried. Well, he's 3.
Oh,
And
dear.
I'm a little bit worried where this is going. You know, like I told you this before. He's on a little bit of a soap diet right now because he I don't understand. Well, I know where he's getting these words from because his dad needs to learn how to shut his mouth, but he's saying a lot of shit when he shouldn't be saying a lot of shit.
Right.
Yeah,
But things
he's
that
just a
start with
full-out-
the F word, the F letter.
Absolutely, but he's
Right.
starting to pick up. He's starting to pick up on shit that I can't believe he picked up on. You know, like not too long ago, my wife shaved his hair off. I don't know why she did that, and the hair fell on the floor. And I said, "Well, what happened to your hair?" And he told everybody that his grandpa put it on his nuts. That's like calls it fuzzy nuts. Put your hair. That's all on grandpa's nuts. It's like, what? I don't know where he gets that from. So now everybody we know thinks that grandpa's got Navy's hair on his nuts. So that's what kind of shit we're dealing
They
with.
must be really hairy.
Yeah. Yeah. They are now, yeah.
Well, shout out to Grandpa and his hairy nuts.
Yeah, well, we'll get him on there. We'll find out what kind of weirdo puts on kids' nuts on his nut. Yeah.
Hair on his nuts. Good gosh. Okay. Where are we at here? I don't. Okay.
There,
Minor.
Somebody want to say. So
Who's here? Oh, hi. How are you?
Where were you born?
Scotland.
Oh, nice. What's your name?
Scottish lass. What's your name?
Goldie.
Well, nice to meet you.
Smile. Look, she's a hockey player now.
Your dad was a bit of a meanie on the ice when we played against each other.
He was mean.
I wasn't that mean. Have a good night. Nice meeting you.
We'll keep the other guy locked up there. Or else.
Really? I kind of want
Yeah.
to meet this Navy
Yeah.
fella, but you know what? If he gets down here, that'd be great. But if not, that's fine. Okay. Minor hockey and Medicine Hat to why do you go to Notre Dame with Al Levy?
Well,
Sorry, hold on. I want to know about Medicine Hat. That's the only guy. What? Like I thought you were from Medicine Hat. Why is there only 300 people?
well, okay. So here it goes. So I'm from Medicine Hat because that's the nearest hospital to where I'm born, right? So born and raised Fox Valley, Saskatchewan. My parents still farm out there to this day. But when I was born, obviously you need a hospital. Can't be born in a barn, can't be born at home. So that up to the Hat. So when they initially say, "Where are you born?" Medicine Hat is just
And how far is that?
1 hour. So right now, currently I'm in Medicine Hat. That's Riverside. That's where my home is. Mom and dad are still at the farm out about an hour. I'm in Alberta. They're just over the border in Saskatchewan, and that's how that works. So I never did play any minor hockey. I played my junior in Medicine Hat, but I played all my minor hockey out in that small town in Saskatchewan, the place that never had an artificial ice.
Right. And you go from there to Notre Dame. How do you get out of there?
Well, what happens is that luckily there was a fella by the name of Stan Olsen. He ran a hockey program in the summer, and he called my dad one day and said, "Listen, like your kid's actually pretty good, and if you want to, you know, if you're serious about him maybe going on to play some better hockey, you're gonna have to." Oh,
Yeah, you just there you go. You're back.
there we go. You're gonna have to move this kid on somehow, somewhere, and it's pretty tough to go play in different minor hockey systems and stuff like that without actually moving the kid with all the rules and regulations, right?
Mm-hmm.
So packed up a fellow by the name of Braden Coburn. I know everybody probably knows who he is too. Another small town guy from just down the road. He was in the same. Yeah, he was in the same ball game as me, and we went on to Notre Dame, and the rest was history. First year.
So the two of you went together.
Went together. First year we were roommates, 1 and 2 in the Bantam draft. He went to Portland. I went to my hometown Medicine Hat.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And you're just two farm boys from middle of nowhere.
Absolutely. Yeah, just it's crazy. He went on to play a lot more and make a lot more money. Actually, I was just at a Stanley Cup party here this summer. It was quite a riot out in Saskatchewan. He brought it home, and
that'd be fun.
So that's how it works. That's how it worked out. Had to go play. Other than that,
probably. So you go straight from Saskatchewan then to the school, right? Notre Dame. So you
straight to the school. Yeah, I played.
And that's your first time playing in like real arena. So did you play other towns? Like you're driving to artificial ice? No.
Yeah, but it was house league hockey to all of a sudden, boom, being a AAA player, right?
Right.
You
must have been running amok in house league.
Yeah,
hey? God, your blonde hair would have been flowing out the back, and you would have just been buzzing around making plays.
I don't think I had any long hair until I left the farm. I don't think I ever seen anybody have long hair before, really, until I left.
Wow.
So once I got out of the
EIHL, you looked like a hockey player, man. In the EIHL,
it was down to here. It was down to here.
I remember you, and like when I saw guys like you, I was like, wow, you guys were like, you guys intimidated me. Oh, here he is. Hey, Navy, how are you?
Hey, John. Say hey, Wally. Give him a thumbs up.
Hey, thanks, buddy. You haven't got any soap in your mouth lately, have you?
You got soap?
No. Maybe he has soup in his belly.
Say, see you later.
See you later. Nice to meet
he's
you,
on his
man.
best behavior.
Oh, this is great. So you're right in the middle of the house.
Already got an extra large helmet. And he's only 3.
Is he skating?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. We had to put his skates on there, and we got okay, see ya. Go see Mom.
I have to stay out here until.
Okay, sit right there. I had to put an ice cream pail in his head. Helmet didn't fit him.
Oh gosh. So where are you? You're right in the middle of the house, right in the kitchen. You
don't have a shed?
You don't have
a shed. If I go down into the basement there,
Wi-Fi will struggle.
The Wi-Fi, yeah, just because the way it's going, and
can't have that.
Unfortunately 2 hours behind you.
Right.
So
hey, this is real life, folks.
This is real life. It's if you want Stefan Meyer, you get the kids too. That's the
exactly.
rule.
If I want your friends that. If I want middle-aged men in my shed, the kids come with them, right?
Yeah. And hey, yeah, don't worry. We'll have a couple drinks, and they'll see it. And when the old man says it's bedtime, it's time to go to bed, right?
So do they listen to you?
No, absolutely not. Well, she does. He doesn't. Like, it's pretty soon, once we lock him in his room, it's going to sound like a orangutan in there. So
is that right? It's kind of the opposite for me. Like, my son's like,
Daddy.
Yeah.
Oh dear. No, but like my son will listen and whatnot, but my daughter, she just is doing her own thing, and it's look out, Girl Scouts.
You got polar opposite going on, eh?
I guess. Yeah. Okay, moving on. We better get into this. So you go to Notre Dame. What's that experience like then? Moving away from home and being a big boy and like growing hair on your nuts, huh?
Yeah, pretty fucking scary. I'm not gonna lie. You know, like especially you've been in a small town. The only thing that made it, you know, an easy transition for me is that town that I went to is just as small as the town that I was in.
The right? Notre Dame one is?
Notre Dame, yeah, absolutely. Wilcox. I'm sure it's called the Hockey Factory. Over the years, people probably know a little bit about it. There's been a lot of really good players come out of there. But I don't know how a guy like Al Levy did, you know, big city boy there from Edmonton comes down there, and now he's being a Russian tourist in a small town, Saskatchewan. Everybody's probably like, what? Who let the Russian in here?
Then he starts opening up the hips around the neck.
Yeah, he's going down Main Street, just heel to heel.
Just through the pylons, eh? Oh gosh, where are we here? Okay, so yeah, that would have been scary, eh? Moving away to Notre Dame. So then, yeah, that happens. You do it, and then you get drafted second overall to your hometown. So that's quite, or not hometown, whatever.
Well,
closest one. Yeah, it's your hometown team.
Grew up dead. The only team I knew as a kid, diehard Tiger fan. Diehard.
Right.
Right.
Medicine Hat
Now
Tigers.
Now I'm playing for the hometown team.
Second overall pick.
Yeah, and I play.
So how long were you? Hold on. How long were you at a real school playing real hockey before you drafted second overall?
First
1
year I get there, don't even know what this draft is.
Is that right? I thought you prospects were like prospects right from the start.
No. I learned as I go. You know what? My downfall is.
You're not a city boy. Gosh.
I didn't know enough early. If I look back at my career, I think I probably even would have played more if I would have got it a little earlier. But how do you I show up wearing a John Deere hat and knee-high socks, like instantly somebody's gonna be like, who the hell who drafted this guy? Never won any fitness tests but the tire flip.
Oh, you're just a far boy. I love it. But that's how you end up on the pod, is because you're just like my cup of tea. That's like the fellas I grew up around. But
I think you and I get along pretty good.
Well, we sure never used to.
You probably still feel that slash in the back of the knees, don't you? Whenever a snow starts to fly.
When you and Al were on the same team, like you'd be giving her being a meanie weenie, and then he would be running the power play and doing his thing, and then if you pushed him, he would flop and die. In Germany, you'd get a penalty and you'd just lose your marbles, and then
I don't know how you did it that long there. It was like a yard sale. A guy like me couldn't play there. Yeah, I couldn't. I didn't do well there because it seemed like somebody would bounce off me and then it'd be a yard sale. There'd be shit everywhere.
You were too big and strong for that league. You would have gotten penalties for doing nothing really. Right?
Yeah, I love the beer, and it's great that every team's sponsored by a beer company, and the dressing room never went dry ever.
No, you're right.
They had some
good culture.
They had some good beer. What's my favorite beer there? If I ever went back there,
Hellas.
Augustiner. Oh.
Yeah, the Saint Augustiner or whatever,
in a crate, right?
Yeah, and it's a green label with a gal on it, I think.
Yeah, best beer. Actually, one of the best beers I ever had.
No, you're right.
€12 for a.
Other than the Bayfield Brewing Company.
I'll tell you what. Before I forget, we got 3 breweries in Medicine Hat here. Fantastic breweries. So I gotta send you. I'll send you some of Medicine Hat's finest down there, and then you send me some of that. You send me some of the boys' beer. We'll make a gentleman's trade. Is that a deal?
I'm totally into it. That sounds lovely.
I gotta taste what you're drinking over there because it sounds fantastic. It might be one of my new favorites.
Oh dear, yeah. No, there's I'd say half a dozen different kinds that I like from Bayfield Brewing Company, and it's what kind of shirt do you got on right now? This is my 2 ales and hockey tales shirt.
You selling merchandise too? I might have to pick some of that up too.
Well, I don't have any because I didn't really invest in this. Someone paid me way back when to be a sponsor, and I turned those into hats and shirts. And then we sold those, and then I don't have anything left anymore. But I would love to make more, and whether I even give them out, I don't really have to sell them. But if people tip me, I'll get this shit made, and we'll get it out there, right?
Well, not even that. Now once you get the website up, you start a merchandise there.
Right. And so if people start tipping, then I can make stuff, and then we can start selling that, and then who knows where this could go, right?
Absolutely. It looks like I think you're starting something good.
I don't, who knows, right? Like I do know I did wind sprints up and down the road the day I thought of it after walking the dog, and I was listening to one, and it was all like NHL superstars, and I was like, this isn't quite what I'm looking for. This isn't what I did. I wasn't really. Once I was in Europe, I didn't watch the NHL, right? Like I didn't even watch it because
time frame, right?
Well, it was the different time frame, and then you see other guys, that you're like, is he really that much better than me? But he's making millions, and you're like, you know what? I'm in Europe now. I care about this, and I cared about what leagues and what was going on over there. I didn't give a shit about the NHL, and I didn't even know it had started this year.
I was exact same. But you worried about, what you could control and what your life was about now and what was going on there.
It does. It's not about
give a
that.
shit
You're
anymore
past
either.
that now, right?
Yeah,
You
I was
move
over
on.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, damn right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how I thought of it. But I did wind sprints that day. Once I thought of it, and like my heart kind of jumped or whatever for the first time, and I like ran up and down my road, and I haven't ran since. But it was, I was like, holy shit, I'm gonna do this. I can't believe I'm gonna do this. I've never put myself out there like this, and I really can't talk in front of people, but it's weird. I can talk in my shed because I tried to do like the first meeting with my new minor hockey team, and I like couldn't even talk in front of a group of parents, and I was like, I'm talking in front of like how many people, and but doesn't feel like
You're
that.
doing you're doing a fantastic job. It's like you're a radio personality almost with the way your voice is. It's unbelievable.
Oh, well, some people called me like a stripper host.
Yeah,
Yeah.
look, I'd pay money for you as a stripper. Absolutely.
Well, yeah, just tip at why don't you tip at www.alehockeytales.com, folks, if you enjoy the entertainment tonight. And tonight we have Stefan Meyer on stage, and ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, you are the DJ at the strip club. That's exactly what you
That's
are.
who I am,
Yeah.
and I'm looking for tips. So you don't actually tip the stripper, you tip the DJ, right?
Yeah.
Is that how this works?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
Okay. Well, don't forget to tip your DJ. Okay, moving on. That's funny stuff. Gosh, need to have more beer here. We fall right in the pocket. Okay.
The pocket's a real thing.
It really
That's
is.
Jim Leahy.
Medicine Hat Tigers. You'd get drafted second overall, but you then just run amok like you're back in house league with no artificial ice, eh? Right?
Right. Yeah.
You had 3 years with 34 to 36 goals, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a
Long blonde hair.
Yeah, that's where it started.
How tall are you at that point?
I don't know. It's way back. I probably didn't even grow since then.
Oh, really? You must have just been a goddamn machine. The scouts would have been just cocked in the stands.
I was a good junior hockey player. That's one thing that I wish that I could have maybe carried on to a little bit more as I went pro. But like, my first year, get the feet wet a little bit. My head coach at the time was a guy by the name of Bob Laux, who was actually a Stampede wrestler. And we had a little bit different of philosophy, young guy, struggled to fit in a little bit, just as learning. And then I had started a coach by the name of Bob Laux. His name was tough. Oh, we had guys
Stampede
like
wrestler, and because I'm just thinking of Darcy Verreau out from Saskatchewan, and he talked about a Stampede wrestler too, but in his
I wouldn't doubt it if I wouldn't doubt it.
But I think he was talking about a Stampede wrestler in like the Whoople down south. So
it's probably Darcy's a small town Saskatchewan boy. It seems like you probably attract.
Just weird that the two of you are talking about Stampede wrestling, but maybe that's what you folks are into out there. Who knows?
Yeah,
right?
You never know. If I wasn't a hockey player, I probably would have been a wrestler. Yeah. That or a truck driver, one of the two. Well, I am a truck driver.
And a thresher.
Yeah. If anybody needs, just remember that every time you have in your fancy malted beer that I malt, somebody malted that and then thrashed it and went to a place near you.
So what exactly happens there? Tell me about it. What happens? Well, so we grow the hops or wheat or whatever, right?
Yeah, we grow barley. Like we grow barley at our farm there, and if you get real lucky and have a lot of rain and the weather's right, you're lucky to have your barley malt, and now it's worth a lot of money. So now you got to get it to market, and that's
your barley malts. What does that mean?
You betcha. Once it malts, that's where it goes in all the fancy stuff.
But what does that mean? Do you know?
It's just it's the
how
most
do you know if it happens?
You actually have to get it tested. Sometimes you just see it and you're like, I feel like it's malted. Just the conditions are right. And if it did, you're in the money, right?
Is that right? Yeah. I kind of feel like My shed is almost malted.
It's getting close. The shed.
You just want it to malt so bad.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for explaining that because I didn't get how. So
Well, now
then
now
it malts.
know.
So then you thresh it, which what is that machine doing? It's a big thing, and I wish I had a thresher beer with me.
It just
open
takes
right now.
everything and breaks it up and then gets the kernels that are in the heads and it puts it, in the hopper in the top, and then you obviously send it, you truck it. You
So
put
it's the
it in a
same as
bin
like
or a
when they
silo
cut
that
down the
somebody would-
corn and like it just breaks up the corn and then it's all corn, right?
Exact same thing. Corn stands insanely high. A good malted barley crop would be, I don't know, 4 feet high
Oh.
compared to, I can't imagine what those stalks are. I don't know much about corn, but I know.
Oh,
those
you
stalks
just need
are.
knee high by July.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay. All right. We better get into hockey again. Sugar and spice. So you made Western Canada under 17. How'd you do there?
Good. I think I might even beat Getzlaff in scoring that tournament. My line mate was Ryan Getzlaff and a guy by the name of Chad Clausen. We had a really good tournament. I don't even know how I remember this, but
Oh, you will when you get into the shed. Just get right in the
Yeah.
pocket and it starts bringing back things. So you're telling me you're in what, like your third year of hockey and you're playing with Getzlaff on Team Western Canada?
third year real hockey.
Third year real hockey. So you're telling me
like,
I don't have to feel
Oregon,
bad
yeah.
about not sending my kid to AAA this year.
No, I didn't play. I left house league hockey at 14 was my first year.
Oh, thank you. You're making me feel great about
Yeah.
myself. Thank you. It's awesome. I love this story.
It's for real. It's for real thing. I'm a firm believer that if you do it the right way and at least you keep their mentality, like grow them up right, that if they're a good player, somebody will find them, right?
Yeah. Well,
you might have to send them away around that age. It might have quite a culture shock.
Yeah.
But
it might hurt the parents too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like we talked to all the players on here. We've never talked to the parents where they're like, yeah, we sent little Johnny away to Notre Dame Hounds at 14, not sure if he had pubic hair yet.
Oh God, well, you can stick that on anyways, right?
Right, on to grandpa.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Anyways, so did you guys almost win it in Medicine Hat? I saw one year you played 19.
We did. We won the whole league. Like you should have seen this team we had.
I didn't look at it.
Man, we won the whole league. Western Hockey League champions. Didn't win the Memorial Cup. Honestly, I'll go on record with this. Should have won. You know what?
You were in the Memorial Cup, so how? Like that's what a round robin. It's a weird tournament.
That's the biggest trophy in Tier 1 junior in Canada.
Yeah,
it's the biggest.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I
we
watched it every year.
So we win the whole Western Hockey League. We win the championship. We go and do out to Kelowna, and it's the best teams out of Quebec, Ontario, and the WHL, and then there's a host. And we got guys like who the heck do we got? Clark MacArthur, Chris Russell, Cam Barker, Darren Reed. I think we had 6 80-point guys, and Ryan Holwig. And I honestly think we look back at it now, and when I've talked about this, even with Willie, it's I think if we didn't party as hard as we did, we probably would have won. But you win the league, and then
that's the
I mean?
right. You're junior kids, and you win the WHL. That you gotta let your hair down.
Yeah, that team was built on hair down. That's why we won. We were better, and like a lot of times, there was a lot of guys on that team that when it was put on the table, it didn't matter if we were down 6 goals. We were winning that night, right?
And there's gamers out there, time. Right? Yeah, different era, different time. Gamers.
We had big gamers, and different era, different time. You can't do that now. Not a chance. You can do that now, but then you could. And that era was that was a hell of a time. But you know, like that was tough, hard hockey.
Oh,
And
yeah, like the WHL back then would have been tough, hard hockey, and you guys won it though. And like back then, is it not winning the league? Like you get rings and everything, don't you?
oh yeah, if the somehow the battery in my safe never got absolutely screwed up and I can't get in it, I would have pulled it out. It's massive.
Yeah.
And it's my hometown team. They were weak for a ton of years, and then all of a sudden we came. This town was insane. Like I walk down the street and they'll still talk about it. People remember.
Oh,
remember
you must be
those
a
days.
goddamn legend around there.
I live and breathe this city, and I've given a lot of my time to it, and I'm treated very, very well. Absolutely, and I'm giving back to it within the community now in the hockey circle.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. No, that's awesome. And yeah, no, that's when yeah, so it's like when I talked to the agent David Amonte, and he was like, you know, you never know which players are going to touch which regions, and he's like, you know, some people become something wherever. He's like, you were obviously something to that city, and you're living there now. That's cool.
Absolutely, yeah.
What are you doing with your finger there? You get that thing away from there. You back off.
I'm a little bit worried because obviously I'm not good with electronics, which I told you. The first time the phone blinks
is it gonna die?
Well, I got a plug in right beside me. We might have to change the angle that you look at me though.
Oh boy. Okay, well, let's keep moving here because we haven't got very far.
You want to look at me a different angle? Just wait, I'll plug you in.
You look good from any angle. Okay, keep talking though. So you actually made Team Canada though, not just Western Canada. You made Canada. That's got to be a big deal, no?
It's coming at us where I came from. It was pretty exciting, right? I was just
fourth year of hockey. You're playing for Team Canada.
yeah. Like I said, I had some really good years young, and I played with some really good players that brought me along.
Did you play baseball growing up too?
Everything. That's what I played in the summer. I didn't play hockey in the summer.
You didn't play till December.
Yeah. Yeah. Once hockey season was over, the gear was gone and we were doing something else, right? And basically, it was baseball. That's what we did in the summertime.
You know what I just was thinking is like when I saw you when I got out of college and I see like you were playing like top 2 line, like center, fighting guys. You got the long blonde hair, you're tall, you're in shape, and I was like, I had you so wrong as a person.
You thought I was a pretty boy?
I did, yeah, with the long blonde hair, but you were gritty, right? You were too gritty to be like a real city like.
That's how I fooled people though, right? It was just
you looked like it, but you didn't play like it. I know that.
Yeah,
maybe it was the Rochester Americans jerseys though. It was the Stars, like they were good looking jerseys, right? And with your
they were.
It just worked. It worked for you.
Yeah, it worked. You remember those days too? No, American hockey, you didn't have to wear a visor or nothing. Everybody's just black guys are picking. I remember first time I broke my nose in the minors, I was on the bench. I was sitting there and somebody finished their check in front of the bench and a stick came by to flatten my nose out. That's when you know it's like, oh man.
Oh, I remember the first time I broke my nose. It was in Dayton. The coach was preaching stick on puck all over the ice, and I was right into it. And he was talking all over the ice. So this guy goes to rim the puck in his own end, and I go stick on puck in the offensive zone, and it ramps up my stick, and it's a full clapper, like trying to ice it, and there is blood everywhere. And then we get in the locker room, and before they snap it like back in place or whatever, I'm like, can I at least see it? And he's like, yeah, sure, go ahead. I go into the bathroom, and my nose was like literally like smelling my ear.
Are those in the Peter Brew days? Was he the trainer there?
No, it was a guy that used to play basketball for like Syracuse in NCAA, but we were playing in Trenton when that happened, and I'll never forget. It was so messed up. But then they No,
That's
it's
good
not
now.
that bad, but like they snap it back and like literally 5 minutes later, I looked almost somewhat normal and it was just like one crack and it was back. It was fucked.
Yeah, but now it's just a little cold weather now, and you probably fucking can't breathe out of it now that you're old, right?
I
Like
don't know,
you're
man.
really.
My body's screaming from a few spots. How are you doing? How are you doing?
I'm wounded. I'm absolutely wounded.
I
There's
was gonna
someday,
say I got some issues.
you know, you want to know the best part about it, and people ask that all the time, is that like, oh, well, hockey, the injuries, blah blah. It's like I carry them with pride, man. I wake up some days and I had knees, my back, my face. Wake up every day, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that one. Fuck, it was a good time.
Oh,
Right?
yeah, and the foam rolling and all that to like feel better for every game. Like I kind of enjoyed being in pain during the season. That's when I knew I was in a season, you know?
That's when you know you were actually, if you felt
If you're
that
not
way,
hurt after a game, you're not trying hard enough, right?
you're not in the fight, right?
If
You're
I'm not
even-
actually two-handing you, then you weren't in my way, right?
Exactly. I wish I could have remembered what you said. It was something smart ass too.
I said something to
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, I think you might have said something. But
What league was
that-
this in?
that was in Cardiff. I remember it. It was in that little rink. Oh, and there was nowhere to hide there. Like nowhere. In the tent.
Yeah, and you would have been hiding from me.
Probably by then, because I didn't even want to even get. By then, it's like I don't feel like limping out of here, but you limped out of there all the time. We had some good battles in there. We had some really good battles in there.
Yeah, the big blue tent. Well, then we had a tough team. We had a lot of big boys, and so did you guys. You guys had Fitzy, Salts. Like, man, there was some big boys
Yeah.
and Frank the Tank. That
Frank
boy,
the Tank.
that
Oh,
boy
we were
suplexed me a couple
mean.
times.
I felt so sorry for we'd come in. Those guys. Oh man, Fitzy was tough. That especially in those years I remember in Glasgow. It's like it was like he had cement hands every time. Everybody punched went down. Frankie was the same. Those guys were great teammates. And then
If those guys ever tried to fight me, I would get so beat up.
And then you stole my boy Salt. I'm still pissed off about that. I could tell you Salt stories. I'm sure he probably told you a couple.
I'm sure, there was probably even not just the players that were upset that Salts was stolen, but some of the wives that enjoyed looking at him when they went to the rink, right?
Yeah, just a big. You want to talk about? I'm half the size of that guy, and he's got long hair. That guy, Greek god, eh?
Oh God!
Hopefully, he's probably going to listen to this and then be working. But yeah, Salts is ugly as shit, but he had good hair, right?
Is that what we're saying? Because
he's going to listen to this, right? So I don't
even care. I say nice things to people on my podcast. He is the best looking man I've ever met.
God. Yeah, he was a hell of a line. We had a hell of a line. Like I was the smallest guy on that line. I had Saltsy was my winger, Matt Keith. Like that was my captain. I wasn't the captain. Keith was my captain. And we just
Keith,
rolled.
That's the other guy.
Yeah,
who's Neil Trim then? I was trying to figure out.
He was on another line. Like we were loaded with talent. You have to get old Keither on here. That'd be really good.
Yeah, I played against him a few places, right?
Yeah, great player. Like he was my captain. He's a hell of a lot older than us. Like fuck, he's old. Like he's old as old balls. That guy definitely got hair in his balls. But between Keith and Salters, we had a line. We had a blast. Nothing was worth probably playing against this big, heavy.
I'm trying to think.
guy.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think any of you guys are really like playmakers. You're like all big and strong, and you guys must have just been cycling the fuck out of people, huh?
We willed pucks in. Like we just willed it in.
And you guys were bigger and stronger.
I think I had 36 goals that one year. Salty was right behind me, and all we did was just straight line, do the right plays. will it in. And
Well, Salts and I were
tough to
supposed
play.
to play together in Cardiff when they brought him over. He was supposed to be the big fella that like was around the net for me. And
yeah, oh
then,
yeah,
then I got hurt right at the start of the season. It just never happened. But I could have just seen it big and little sexy playing together, right?
you would have been great. He would have been great for you. But yeah, I remember that year you missed a lot of the year, right? Like you were you were hurt.
Yeah, I was
What was that? Your knee?
Yeah. No, that was the end of her. I became a pregame speaker and I just watched matches. I was the power play coach.
Well, you know what power play, so you'd be good at it.
I remember this conversation. It's one of those things you brought back a memory. Was Lordo brought me in. I had been like lost for like 6 weeks, and he brings me and he goes, "Why were you good at hockey?" And I was in between periods, and he's a player coach. He's like dressed, and he's all free, and he's like, "Why were you good at hockey?" I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Why were you good at hockey?" And I'm like, And then I said, "My brain," and he was like, "That's a good answer, but no." Power play. He's like, "Watch the power play. Tell them what they should do." And I'm like, "Okay." And then I was the power play coach.
Absolutely.
So yeah, no, I would spray paint myself, do the pregame speech, shower quick, get rinsed off, and then run the power
I
play.
for some reason I've seen a picture of it because you came back, right? Did you come back after you retired and come back?
Yeah, like
And
5 years later. Yeah.
And they spray painted you too. I did the
Yeah.
same thing. How good is that trip coming back and not having to play?
Did you get to go back over?
I did it twice. I went back. They actually retired. They did the Wall of Fame for me. A year or two after.
And Brayhead.
In Brayhead, yeah, Brayhead. That's at the time when I was with Brayhead Clan, Glasgow Clan.
Isn't that an amazing time to get to go back?
Oh my
and,
God,
like,
that was
remember
crazy.
who you are. Like remember
Come back
what
there, and the whole night is for you, right? Because they
doesn't
hang
even make sense.
Yeah.
I didn't get anything hung or anything. I just got spray painted and ran around naked. But
and then I went back.
but no, I'm glad they did that for you.
Then the next year I went back again. I got back-to-back jacks because my good friend Matt Haywood had his testimonial.
Oh, and he brought you back.
Me back too. Yeah. So I went back-to-back jacks on that. And on the testimonial, Al Levy comes over too. And we absolutely light that place on fire. His old, like you had this hillbilly from Saskatchewan and a Russian tourist, right? And now he's really Russian tourist because he really fits
Really
the
let
part,
himself
right?
go a bit, did he?
But it's the same way. Al's the same way. He gets on the ice. He pulls his skates out and the bottom of the blades are just rust. Like they haven't even.
And he went out there and he was the best player ever. And he was
because he played well. He knew how to play with his brain, right?
Yeah.
That guy probably never even had to be in shape in his life because he knew how to play with his brain. And I was always envious of guys like yourself and him because it didn't matter. As long as you knew that your brain was good and where you were going, what you could get through the game. I had to move my feet, right? I had to use my body.
You were giving her, yeah.
And Al was the same. Al was the same way. He just
but
doesn't matter.
But then it was, it's all about like you got to combine her all to really do her, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Everybody that comes on my podcast has got some kind of a flaw.
Yeah. That's true, right?
Wow.
I wish I had a brain. I wish I had wheels.
I mean, I wish I had a different body type, but like I've looked at my old man and I get what the scouts were seeing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Chicken legs and a bit of a belly, you know? Like I'm not 6'3". My old man wasn't 6'3", so why would I be?
But they're saying that the new cool is that everybody just the good looking guy is a guy with a dad bod now, right? So we all gotta take that in. That's the new.
If that is cool, then I am right in the pocket, just like I'm gonna be in the shed.
Yeah.
Okay, better get back to the show. So we better move on from the WHL because we got real sidetracked there. Jeepers, creepers. So when you're a second round draft pick, getting drafted second round, that must have been a pretty big deal. And like, you're going pretty high if you're going second round. I don't know what any of that's like because I never did any of that.
It was right. I went right from graduating with 10 kids. I think the day after that or the next day, or not too long. You have to excuse it's so long ago. Straight to the NHL draft. Whole family goes.
But you've played real hockey for a few years now.
Well, I've 2 years Notre Dame, and this is my second year junior. So this is my 4th year of really being into it, right? Yeah. Then we go, and I get drafted first day at that time. First, second, third rounds are in the first day, and the second day is 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever rounds are. I get drafted first day. And party's on, right? Like, no, everybody, it's such a long shot for that to even happen. Nobody ever thought about it from the get-go.
And where were you? Did you go to the draft, or were you at
we went. Yeah, we went
where
there.
Was it?
Nashville.
Oh dear.
Yeah, the issue is that I'm 17, 18 years old. I'm like 17 years old, right? And
it's
so
21 in Nashville, so you're just drinking in the hotel rooms.
Yeah, I think my family went out and had a blast, but it was such a stressful time for me. Anyways, it was. When I look back now, I wish I would have looked at it a little bit different, like, and had a little bit more fun with it. But by then, I'm serious. I actually know that I'm somewhat of a player now, right? So, I know.
It'd be stress.
My family.
Yeah. I got way too stressed out when I got around the NHL. Like, I never thought I'd be anywhere near it. I was never like yourself and like was a prospect really until I came to Syracuse, I guess. But I just never.
You were a big scorer in college, though. You were a big scorer.
Right. Yep. And then I went to Syracuse, and I never played on the power play one shift.
Yeah, that doesn't help. That doesn't help. Is this what you do, right? It didn't matter from what I've seen in my experience, is that guys like yourself, no matter what, you got to be put in that spot.
Well, if you're gonna bring me there and then put me on the 4th line with the fighters, it's like, well, it's not what I do. But hey, I was the coach. I was just there.
Yeah,
enjoying the ride, doing what they asked of me, right? I even mixed in a fight too, in the AHL, chuck some knuckles.
Well, you gotta just keep.
Well, if you're playing the role, you got to do the best you can, right? If you're 3rd, 4th line, let's go. Let's mix it up. Let's do this thing. Okay. Anyways, your first training camp then. What was that like when you first get around the big boys, eh? And you're just fresh off the farm. It's like your 4th year hockey, and you're like, oh, 2nd round pick, and now I'm around. Who's around in your first?
It's not good. Extremely out of shape. Don't know any better. Like I said, dressed like a.
Me too. So that's what happened to me. I had no idea about the being in shape thing. I just didn't know.
Found that out quick, but I can gladly say it was the best thing that ever happened to me, because I turned it around instantly after that. It almost had to
so
be exploited.
I.
Exploited, embarrassed a little bit, right? And then once you see it, then the whole time you get out of there like, oh, I'm screwed. I screwed myself.
And now I got to do this. Hazy sunset.
Yeah.
I don't have to do that anymore.
No, me neither. Absolutely. But you know what? And that's one thing I now in this day and age is that I don't miss that. I don't miss the training camp when they grab your gut and they pinch your stomach and do the fat test and the running and the VO2, and that's one thing I don't.
And then there was some camps where you're like squatting as much as you can, and you're not. Well, maybe not in the WHL, but in college, it was so different because there wasn't tryouts. You're on the team when you get there, and so they would do these fitness tests that were just so outrageous that you could be doing squats where you might actually pull an asshole.
That's probably why our back is fucked now at this point, because we put all that weight on it, and now we're old men and we're trying to get our kids to hockey in the morning. And I remember it wasn't back so stiff because I squatted the house when I was 19, 20 years old, right?
Yeah, and I didn't know anything about it till I went to the NCAA, and then they were like we squat as heavy as you can, and people are like, they were screaming, and I was like, jeepers creepers. And then I was shaking like a leaf. But we learned as we went though, from being, I guess, from the country area, right? Like not being from the cities, you don't know what it's all about.
Absolutely. That's only how else you gonna learn, I guess. Get thrown in the fire. That's the way it goes, right?
Yeah, that is. So your rookie year, then you do really well. You get 28 points and 139 penalty minutes. So how much are you fighting? Because there's musings out there.
Yeah, that was a year where I kind of had to. We had such a good team, and the shitty part was, where I felt like it would have went a different way if it didn't happen like this. Is that it was stupid, and I don't know why teams do this. I talk about this all the time. We're split with Buffalo. It's Buffalo's team. I'm a young guy, a good promising prospect, and they throw me on a team that has only 8 spots for the other team because you're sharing an American Hockey League team. So instantly, there's no room for I still a measly 28 points out that year, but I would have had a lot more if I actually didn't have to. I had to claw just to get.
And that was Florida and Buffalo together.
Yeah.
And that makes no sense at all because I could hardly get into a lineup when it was just Columbus, and Columbus was brutal.
Well, and I look back at that. That's when I look back at my career. That was one piss
off. That's the biggest thing, right? There.
That's stuff. I was, especially then. I come out of junior, and that was right probably when I was, full of raw skill and good and tough. And then you go do that, and you
were willing to do anything. You're young enough. You'll do anything to win that game every day.
Yeah. I think it stalls. I think it stalls your development. And I remember I had a guy by the name of Randy Cunninworth and Doug Huda. These guys were good coaches, but and I have a ton of respect for them. I learned a shit ton from them, but they were Buffalo coaches, and they're probably going to develop
Buffalo players,
somebody from Buffalo rather than a Florida.
Well, and you can't really fault them for that because they're doing their job, and they got bosses too, right?
And I love these guys. When I look back at guys I played for, I love these guys. And I think I love them because they seen that, guys that give a shit, and they tried, and they brought you along and prepared. And I wasn't even their players. I was their players that year, but I wasn't theoretically even their organization, right?
Yeah.
But I probably would have maybe played on the power play a little bit more. Got to play a little bit more. You got guys like Jason Pominville, Derek Roy, all these big name guys in the minors. You're not playing ahead of these guys. They go on to be point per game guys that year when they went up.
Yeah. That's what you walked into out of junior?
I walked into, it was a complete old guy. Remember Chris Taylor?
And yeah, I do. Yeah. I do. He was playing in Germany for a long time. Man.
Yeah. Well, he was my captain that year. That's the top line centerman. So now instantly you have 2 full lines already full. So you don't stand a chance. But
when the AHL was so different back then, man. I remember when I first got there, which would have been when you're already you were at least a year or two into it, but there were so many older guys in the league, man. It wasn't even 4 prospects. It was let's make the best AHL team we can on every team, and they had a whole bunch of old boys, right? It wasn't even young guys. Young guys you couldn't get in the lineup. You got to prove yourself to get in there. Or
they made the veteran rule, right? But they never had the veteran rule, I don't think, really back then, or whatever it was. But it was a lot. You could have a lot more veterans, right? Eventually,
I think only 5 could play, but we had 8 on the roster, 9 or something, and they're guys that just were healthy every night.
Yeah.
Because it was a new rule that year.
Making a shit ton of money, right?
And they were making a shit ton of money.
Yeah. Those were the good old days. It was backwards. Games changed, man.
Hey, did you sign before the lockout? Did you get a signing bonus?
Oh yeah. I was.
Fuck yeah! High five! Hey, cheers, buddy! Cheers! That's fucking awesome. You were before the lockout. Good for you.
No, so here, I was signing as the lockout was going on, but my year, we kind of got grandfathered in because I was our signing year, right?
So you could sign what the tickets could have been.
Yeah. Our tickets were definitely better than I felt sorry for those guys, good players. And then they fall into that new CBA, and oh man, if they're good, They
It
ended up
changed
making their money.
everything, man. That was right when I was in college. It changed
Yeah.
everything. It went from
Everything.
guys leaving college to sign. I know one guy that signed like 650,000 US to leave school, just signing bonus. That didn't even have anything to do with his salary. And
Yeah.
then I go have the junior year I have, and it's a lockout. And then the lockout ends, and it's like there's no more signing bonuses. And you're like,
No, just a little bit to put some fucking gas in your car, put tires on, and get you to camp, right?
yeah. And before people were like buying houses and cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. Fucking,
Yeah.
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 Things,
That's funny you brought
you know
that
what?
up.
It's just you just jump on the ride and go for the ride, right? Okay, so you're we're fucking all over the place. We can't get through your career. We're still in the like
That's the story, man. I kind of have that effect on people.
jeepers creepers. Where are we? We're in. So you remember some of the fights with Syracuse as what I wrote down. You were talking about Konopka. That was the second year when I was in Dayton.
Oh, man.
Like even the first year when I first leave school, and like I've been I played for the Elmira Kings, and then I go to Western Michigan where nobody's fighting. And then all of a sudden I show up in the AHL, and like I had seen the OHL back in the day when there was fighting and stuff, but like then you got to the OHL and like these people were a whole different thing. Right?
Oh yeah, whole different. Now like she's fucking on now. Right? Like it's
Some of those people were so fucking big. Like seriously.
I don't even know how to explain it. I don't think anybody will ever understand it.
You were in the mix though. You were playing top minutes and you're fighting fucking people. Like I was just watching this shit from the bench going, holy shit, don't put
I couldn't
me out
even
there.
make it on the ice, and they'd be standing at, remember they'd stand at the red line? I don't even know if they warmed up.
Syracuse had literally like 6 heavyweights, and then I'm playing fourth line with one of them.
Was Sugden there then?
Sugden, Scroy, Darcy. Darcy could play. He was a player.
Darcy's a good player too. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, there was more too. I just can't even think of them. But no, there was.
But even your guys like your defensemen too, they were big in me. I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to sound like a pussy, but I hated going to Syracuse because it was just like the second I got there, got on the ice.
I know I didn't fit in.
I do right away. It's like it's gonna be a long night. I bet you if I went back there, I walked in that rink and I looked around, I just get the feeling again, right? Just knowing like tonight's gonna be one of those nights. Like I said, I had to punch Swez with his own helmet to just try not to get knocked out. Like, what kind of fun is that? I look back now, I laugh.
I knew he was tough. I didn't know how tough. He's that tough. Eh?
Oh man. Big hands, like just massive. You get hit with one of those and it feels like somebody hits you and feels like the wife took the frying pan to your head when she's pissed off.
Okay. So next question is, well, I guess your rookie year, you get 28 points, you play 69 games and you're with Florida and you're a second round pick. And you're not even with their own AHL team. Are you kind of pissed off you don't get called up at all?
I don't know. I think possibly that could have warranted probably a call up, but not even close. At the end of the day, like we had some real older players and stuff like that who ended up going up. Same as the next year. My next year, that's probably my weakest year to start my pro. Little bit slow out the gate, and it was probably better that happened because by the third year, I put the work in and I'm ready to go. And I end up getting called up sometime in November. Like I think we've only played like 10 games, and now I get my first taste of NHL games, right? So sometimes you gotta put in your time, take the heat, realize that you're not as good as you think you are, and come around again. And I had a really good summer after that, right?
Right. Yeah. So you were all jacked up. You're yoked, the kids would say, I think.
Yeah, you betcha. That second year pro I had, it was wasn't
So
a
what are
good
you
year.
doing in the summer? You going back to Saskatchewan and living on the farm,
Nah,
or
I
you got
can't.
like real trainers?
Gotta move away.
Yeah.
Gotta move away. My agent's he's actually another small town guy that's out of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. He brings a lot of us in. We train at the university in Saskatoon. Put in a really good year. That third year, I'm ready to play, and almost stick it out at the end with the big team camp. Get sent down. 10 games in, I'm up. So finally, I'm there, right?
You're in the NHL. So
Yeah.
how did that call happen? You're 10 where are you? Where are you? You're in Rochester and you get the call? Like where does
I remember like it's yesterday.
I know you'd remember because I
Yeah,
fucking
absolutely.
remember it.
So the practice, we were in Hershey the night before. We end up coming home. For some reason, we practiced that next day. And I'm out there and we go into the dressing room. Don't know anything's going on. Go back out to the bench. Think I forgot my stick out there. Whatever I went to grab, I'm going to put away. I'm going to go home. And that's when, you know that feeling, you just know that there's something going on. Coach comes to my office and it's like, it's fucking happened. I think it's happening, right? Then Randy Cunnyworth, love the guy to death. By then, now this guy's playing the shit out of me. And
he's not even, he's a Buffalo coach and he's playing the shit out of you.
Yes, still Buffalo coach, playing the shit out of me. It took me 2 years. And congratulations. And by then I put two good years in, ups and downs with him, and the guy's happy for me. Congratulations, Mizey. You deserve it. Go up there. And this guy's a longtime NHL player. Like he knows what's this feeling and what's happening, right? He's probably seen a million players. He's sent a million players up by now. And of course, instantly, first thing, call your dad, call the family, and throughout the day goes on. Actually, my uncle owns the bar in Fox Valley, right? And at the time, later in the day, I'm like, fuck it. Ring up the local bar. I called, let everybody know that I got called up, and he screams, kids called up, blah, blah, they're screaming.
Holy shit, that's awesome.
True story. Yeah, Brent Getz. I remember calling Brent Getz, who was the owner at the time too, and he just said, yeah, hey man, small town. Nobody's ever come out of there. We all know each other. Heck, we all know each other's birth date for God's sake.
And the thing is, the smaller the town, the more the people care. Like if someone from Kincard had made the NHL, everybody around here would care a lot. And no, I appreciate that story. That's the type of shit I love. Fuck, that's cool.
It's a true story. I wouldn't bullshit you.
The other thing I was gonna say though, when we were talking there, and you mentioned the guy got to tell people, he called a lot of people up, is like that guy is an AHL coach. If you're a good dude, you could change people's lives so differently than I would say what I went through, but like you get to tell people they're getting the call to the NHL, right? Like how many people in the world get to tell hockey players they're going to the NHL? There's a fucking very select few. And then you also have to tell people they're going to the coast. And the way you're doing those things, if you're an actual good person, it can change the way those conversations go drastically, right? If it actually means something to you, like if it means something to that guy that you're getting called up and he's groomed you and he's helped you for 2 years and he actually cared about you, and like after practices you worked on shit or whatever happens, or there's the guys that just don't give a fuck and they don't coach, they just run the practice and leave and you don't even see them.
Yeah, absolutely. I know exactly because we've all been on both sides of it, right? At the end of the day, I could tell like with Cunny, it was if he would have been calling me into his office because he was going to give me shit, but there was just a different feeling like just about it, right? It was like I could tell he was smiling, but
you could see it in his eyes. You could
yeah,
see it
he
in
was
his face.
smiling, but he was
Yeah.
playing it off. He was giving the tough love thing until we got around the corner into the door.
And you know how you're playing too, right? Like you were
I'm
playing
playing
well.
awesome. It's the best hockey I've played in my career in the minors, right? I know, like, I'm playing good. The guy's playing the shit out of me, and it can't be something. It's got to be something good. It's kind of crazy how you kind of know, as a players, we know if we're playing good or shitty.
Oh,
right?
you
can
know.
always feel
You
it.
goddamn
know.
know. Yeah.
So it's just like the stars aligned, right? And obviously somebody got probably hurt up top there. And the next day I was playing against Philadelphia Flyers, first game in Florida.
And so,
So it was-
what are you playing? Fourth line wing or center?
Fourth
What are you-
line, yeah, fourth line winger, and like they had good players. Like my guy who really helped me, and he's not around anymore. Was Steve Monador. He was a defenseman, and he was playing. This guy was. People didn't realize how good Steve was. That he played as a defenseman. He was really offensive, or he played forward, right? And this was my centerman. He's playing center, playing the wing or whatever it was. I can't remember. It's been so long ago.
And he's a
But he
natural
grabbed me
D-man.
right away, natural D-man, but he's playing forward, get there. And that's when you realize how good he was. This was my line mate. And this guy, like he's a fringe player, plays every day in the NHL. I can hardly keep up to him. And this is grabbing me, involving me in everything, blah, blah, blah. And this is my line mate. And he was a hell of a player, and he helped me a lot, especially just be comfortable in that first game, right? And I'll remember that forever too. Like, he was a fantastic guy. You didn't have to be like that with me, especially, a young guy coming up. And you remember those guys, especially as I got older, as young guys came up too. I tried to be that guy because you tell a story, whether you're a coach or a player, about guys that were good to you.
No, and you're right. Like it's there was actually, to be fair, there was a couple of years in Bietigheim where like I kind of lost my what I should be doing, right? And like,
yeah, absolutely. We've all had that too. I've had that too, where sometimes I look back, I'm like, fuck, I wish I would have done things the way that I know
but
that.
then
I
and it's
told
the
myself
kick in
it should
the
be.
ass, right? Like a not getting invited back to Bietigheim and them being like, no, it's time to move on. And then it's like, maybe I have to change. Maybe I'm maybe it's not them. Maybe it's me. And then by the time I got to Cardiff, I remember thinking at the start of that season, because I had been through Germany and the team was so divided, it was embarrassing between the imports. And I remember going to Cardiff and being like, I'm going to be friends with every single person I meet, and it's not going to be about me. It's going to be about everybody, right? And everybody's going to be together, because it's the only way you win. Teams that are separated do not win.
It is the only way you can make it work. And separated.
Roll and chop, brown ale. You're right. Sorry.
Yeah, you got to send me some of those.
I wanted to open it and I couldn't wait. I'm sorry.
Hey, you're allowed to open up whatever you want, but you got to salute it, because you're doing a good job.
But no, sorry. What were we talking about?
We were talking about just how you have to be a close-knit team.
Yeah, to win.
To win. And
you
I
can't.
look back now, and
You can't.
When you win, when you look back at some parties and the way it went, and remind me that when we go back to it, I want to tell you my when we won the championship.
Do it now.
You want to hear it now?
What championship?
This
WHL?
is championship. This is in the EIHL. This is when I'm with Sheffield. So when you remember,
you got to go with the flow when you're in the pocket. Go with the
okay, I'm in the pocket. So we beat Belfast in overtime at the playoffs and
playoff finals in Nottingham.
Right? So Drew Fata scores the winner, and so we win, and that party's on. Right? It's great. Wives are on the ice. I don't have kids, and beers are going. The Brits over there, best teammates I ever had. They're just like us. Like,
Isn't it weird?
Oh, just like there's no yard sales. Take a puck in the face, nose is sideways, get up, get off.
In the hockey world,
Yeah.
Brits don't get nearly enough respect
Oh,
for who they are as people and teammates because
yeah.
they'll do way more. I think they'll do more than Canadians at some point.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like but they're just great teammates and they're like, you want me on the fourth line? Fuck it. I'm on the fourth line. Yeah, let's go.
Some of the best teammates I ever had. You're bar none. So we win this game, and we have our starting goalie Frank Doyle, fantastic that game. We had the backup at the time. He got hurt, so we bring in this other guy. And anybody that's listening from over there, we're gonna call him. Everybody knew as the Yak. I don't know if you heard of a Yak story at all, right? So I love this guy. He was my shoe supplier. Don't do that now. My whole life grew up with that stuff. Blah blah blah. The Yak. Him and I, we were like this, right? Where's the goods? Get the goods. Practiced every day, and he's like, I can't. We won. Like it's shit's flying everywhere. People are partying. You know how it works.
Oh yeah.
We go over, get out of the rink, and you're battling the crowd. We go next door, and then the party's on. Just start pounding the beers down.
Yeah.
And it's giving her. We're champions. You know, you can't. She's on. So we get on the bus, and this.
You just keep talking. You shut your video off. You can keep talking though. I can hear you. Whoa.